a period of practice, we should establish ourselves in good morality. So this is what we will do first. So I think after Bruno translates whatever translation needs to be done, then we can take the 9 precepts. So I should continue to say a little bit more before we take the precepts, just to make sure that everyone understands that the first precept is we commit to not killing. We commit ourselves to not taking the life intentionally of any other being. And the second precept is to refrain from stealing, from taking things which are not given to us. That doesn't mean we can't use the things that are permitted for us to use during this retreat, even though somebody doesn't say to us specifically, take this and use it. It's understood we can use the bedding and the food and so on. So all these things are supplied for us. The third precept is to refrain from sexual activity. Even though we may have a partner during this time of retreat, we refrain from sexual activity so that we have, because this is a time for developing our awareness of our own self, for doing self-research. So this is best done without getting physically involved with another person. So for the time of the retreat, we put aside all sexual activity. And then the fourth precept, to refrain from false speech, from lying, from joking, from swearing. And here on retreat, we speak only when necessary. For example, there will be question and answer period, or if there's something that you don't understand about practical situations at the center, you are free to speak with the managers about that. But the act of speaking interrupts the practice of awareness. So we're trying to give ourselves full-time, intensive practice of development of awareness. So we limit our speech, even though we're not necessarily lying. We still limit ourselves to only speak when absolutely necessary. Then the fifth precept is to refrain from the use of recreational drugs, intoxicants, and similar things which cloud the mind. These 5 precepts are practicing physical and verbal restraint so that we do not harm ourselves or others. And then the next precepts, number 6, 7, 8, and 9, they don't involve restraint so that we will not harm anyone. They involve restraint so that we will have more time and more effective time for doing meditation practice. So the 6th precept is to refrain from eating between the hours of 12 noon until dawn of the following day. And this is this gives us more time for practice, and in that way it's very supportive. Although I know for today you've already had your dinner, so no problem. Tomorrow you'll have to sacrifice a bit, and then Sunday again you'll be back being able to have dinner. So just try to be patient with tomorrow, and tomorrow not having any dinner. And it's important to keep this precept without snacking. There will be chance to have juice and I think sometimes hard candies, things like that. So, and herbal teas are allowed also. So these things will help alleviate the feelings of hunger that you may have. Then the 7th precept is to refrain from entertainment, beautification, and adornment. And the 8th is to refrain from sleeping on a high and luxurious bed. So regarding the bed, it's not difficult to observe because all the beds that are offered to the yogis are narrow, are single beds. And then the 9th precept is to have an attitude of loving kindness towards all beings. Okay, so now that we have all taken the precepts, our morality is complete. We are established in morality, and as long as we keep these precepts, that foundation is secure for us to continue and develop concentration and knowledge. The Buddha gave instructions for sitting. He said, Ita bhikkhave bhikkhu arinyagato va rukamulagato va sonyagaragato va nisidati alankang abhojitva ujjonkayang panidhaya parimukkhang satin upatapitava. That is, the practitioner, whether in a forest or the root of a tree or in a place that is secluded from human noises, sits down with the lower part of the body bent, the upper body upright, and then puts the attention on the object of meditation. So now you're sitting, whether in a chair or on the floor, the lower legs bent, and then the upper body should be up straight as possible, so that the bones of the back aren't curved, so that you will not cause unnecessary pain by having a curved spine. So put your back upright. You can put your hands as you like together or one on either knee. Just put them in a way where you can keep them still. And then bring your attention. Breathe normally. Just let the breathing happen normally and bring your attention to the abdomen to feel the movement that happens when we breathe in and out. So bring the attention to the abdomen, and when the abdomen expands with the in-breath, make a note of it, rising, rising. Follow that movement with your mind from the beginning to the end. And again, when the abdomen collapses back down, as the breath goes out, follow that movement with your mind from the beginning to the end. And make a label of it. Make a note of it. Falling, falling. Just let the breathing be natural. It doesn't matter whether the breathing is strong or weak or long or shallow. Just observe it the way it is. If you don't feel anything at all, then, of course, if it's imperceptible, how can you watch it? So you have to put then your hands on top of the abdomen. Put one on top of the other, on top of the abdomen, and then you'll feel how they move in and out with the breathing. So don't try to make the breathing strong if it's not strong. Just let it be natural. You know that you're breathing, so don't worry about anything. Just let the breathing happen. And if you can't feel anything at all, then you put your hands on top of the abdomen and observe it like that. So every time the abdomen rises, You want to be able to observe it from beginning to end and make a note of it, rising, rising. Every time it falls again, you want to be able to observe it, making a note of it, falling, falling. Keep on doing that each time the abdomen rises, each time the abdomen falls. When you can follow the movement you can take your hands away and then you continue observing, rising and falling. And whenever you find your mind is no longer with that object, you bring it right back. So bring it back again to the abdomen to observe the phenomena that's happening there, the rising and the falling, making a note of it, rising, rising, and then falling, falling. Don't be discouraged if the mind goes somewhere else. That's natural. So when you are aware that the mind has gone somewhere else, you bring it back so that you can observe again the rising and the falling. So keep on observing this object. It's like our anchor that we always come back to. So we'll continue for about 15 more minutes like this. Please continue to observe according to these instructions. So now let's finish the sitting. And as far as further instructions, now at the end of this sitting, you'll get up and walk to your rooms and do whatever you need to do to get ready for bed. So as you go from one place to the next, please put your attention on the fact that you're walking. So try to keep your mind on. With each step that you take, make a note of it. Stepping, stepping. So in this way, you can continue to build your awareness by being aware of the posture of walking. Of course, you must all be very tired by now too. So from time to time as you walk or you move about, you may feel that you're tired. Just make a note of it. Tired, tired. And then bring your attention again back to the walking, the steps that you make, right step, left step, or stepping, stepping. So tomorrow morning also there will be further instruction in sitting and in walking, and then later in the day there will be a talk about how to continue the practice. So that's all for tonight.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Please have a good rest.